two of the best right tackles in the league. And we're going to talk about the first one right now, Zach Tom. This is an earlier clip. I believe this is from week 1. It's a zone stepping to the to everybody's right, and it's going to loop a couple times. There's a lot of stuff happening in this clip. I tried to look at Walker all the way down the field. What I love about the Packers, and when you see these clips, is everybody's getting into it all the time, looking for work all the way down the field. But it all starts with that edge seal. With that edge seal, number 50 is Zach Tom on the right side. It's on the left side on the screen here, based on the all-22 angle. But just a lot of team blocking. On defense, it's like swarm to the ball. Well, in this offense, like everybody's looking for a piece of the action. 50, 71, bang, over, just burying guys, and this was a big play. They ended up losing this game, I believe. It was a close game, but what do you see as a coach, as a person who used to play the position? Like, what do you see from Zach Tom out of this?
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out about Zach Tom on this play is, very good technique for sure, with moving his feet and the reach there, but the instincts to have the foresight to be like, okay, I've got to reach block Nolan Smith, but he's rushing inside. I'm just going to get a piece of him, keep it clean. You spring Jaden Reed here, and then he's got other horses in front of him to get him to the paint. I think this is a beautiful job. And the thing I like about Matt LaFleur's offenses have been, to me, the movement, and it's really a modern offense, and the fact that you're basing everything off, like you said, the outside zone. The play action game is built off of that, but also just getting guys involved in a lot of different ways. So yeah, Jaden Reed is a receiver, but we've obviously seen what he can do as an all-pro returner, so giving him the ball in a jet sweep like this, just get some guys out lead blocking for him in space, and sayonara. So I think just being able to see the way that the Packers O-line effort-wise here, really selling out down the field, cutting guys off, and then once they're getting to the second level, really moving people. It's just brilliant, really, really brilliant play here. And I think part of the reason why they're the league's leading rushing team overall, at over 200 yards a game right now.
Absolutely. I have more Zach Tom to show us. We're going to go right to the next one. This is against the Titans last week. He gets the double team at the point of attack. And I wanted to highlight Josh Myers burying somebody. Again, more of that downfield sort of, we see these plays on SportsCenter, but we don't usually see them from this angle. And this is a big play. This is a Malik Willis quarterback keeper. He gains, 30 yards on it. And to get from the double team to find more work, just a lot of stuff going on there. I'm trying to get a little better at my video editing skills, but what do you see in this one?
I love this play so much. First of all, I'm such a fan of the pistol offense. This is a split zone action here. We got the tight end running over 85. Oh, my goodness. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Is that Kraft?
Kincaid or something? Oh, yeah.
Is it Tucker Kraft, I believe?
Tyler Kraft.
Tyler Kraft. I believe Tucker Kraft.
Tucker Kraft.
Okay. But the thing I love about it is it's just a split action zone read, and it's a very simple play, but it's really dressed up. It's simply the zone left action from the line up front, backside of the play. You're reading 92 to see if he crashes down. If he crashes down, boom, you pull it. If you're Malik Willis, and he does that and makes him pay. He's got some legs. I think this is a play that really is catered to Malik Willis. Jordan Love definitely can run, but Malik Willis's superpower is his legs. So, but the thing about this play, so Zach Tom, he's able to block down on that. Let's see, once it restarts here, he's able to block down on that D tackle, that 3-tech, boom, double team here. And Malik Willis has an easy read and a lead blocker. I love this look from the Green Bay Packers. Again, this is a play completely designed for your backup quarterback. And there are a lot of teams in the NFL that when they have a backup coming to the game, they still try to run the same offense that that they have for their starter, and sometimes that works. There have been some systems that I think like last year when the Eagles brought in Marcus Mariota, or even similar to that now with him being in Washington, being behind Jaden Daniels, two dual threat type of guys. So you don't have to change your offense up that much, but for the Buffalo Bills, God forbid if they were to have to deal with an injury to Josh Allen. I'm sorry, I'm thinking a little bit of prior. This year he's got Mitchell Trubisky back, but there were years, where he had Case Keenum last year, Kyle Allen, those guys, yes, good, competent players that could come in and, win you a game or two as backups, but at the same time, too, completely different players than Josh Allen. So your offense completely changes. So you can't really run it the same way, So, but yeah, I think Zach Tom and the Green Bay Packers, they've been able to really move guys. But I think, the thing that stands out to me about Matt LaFleur and his offense is it's just creativity, but really simple concepts at the end of the day. It's really just, simple football, but, to be able to get your opponents a little distracted, to, take their eye off of what they should be focusing on. I mean, you see it even on a simple play like the zone read there. Green Bay has been effective and been able to really pile up the yardage on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow night the Dolphins are going to start Tyler Huntley basically off the street. How much of that offense does he know? So a play like this is something that could work in any offense when you have a mobile quarterback. We're going to keep going. I have a couple more clips. I want to also mention, according to Kent Lee Platt on Twitter or X, Zach Tom had a 9.59 RAS score, which is pretty darn high. We're talking about a 33-inch vertical leap, not 4.94 40-yard dash, 1.6 10-yard split. His 3-cone was also excellent, 7.32 for a guy who's 6'4", 304, coming out of Wake Forest.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that's something that everybody needs, but when you see this film, the athleticism, the first step, things like that, you can't teach. You can teach a guy to get better, but you can't teach some of these God-given skills.
Yeah, that's so true. But you know what, though? Again, like even just seeing a couple of these clips, he's a really instinctual lineman, just looking at this concept here, we've got just a play side toss. And he really is just able to reach this D end pretty easily. And I know he shot inside for sure, but what you see is once he gets that outside shoulder, he's able to just hold that guy down inside. And I think it really just shows again like how smart of a player he is. He could have just tried to blow this guy up and sent him upfield. And if he had done that, he would have been pushing him right into his running back Wilson there. So, I think just seeing that Zach Tom is able to not only get in front of guys with his athleticism, but know how to cut guys off. As far as I always try to tell my players, you got to build a wall. You know where the lane is, where the running back is supposed to hit the gap, right? And when you keep that in mind and let that guide you when you block, that mentality will help you to be able to figure out, okay, I've got to make sure that I'm angled this way, I'm angled up this way to make sure that he can't really impact the play. And just seeing how Zach Tom was able to do that on this play was crucial in this big chunk play.
Yeah, I stopped it in my little video editing at the 31's at the 42-yard line. In about a split second, he's at the 48, and I stopped it right there to highlight exactly what you're talking about. He doesn't get in the running back's way, and this guy hits north-south. I mean, it's just after watching college football all day, to go from the 42 to basically the other 48 and not barely get touched. It's an incredible speed and explosion, and you don't want that guy running into your back. That's the last thing you want. It's like getting behind a rocket ship, you know.
Yep.
So there's one more clip I've got that might be the best one, just in terms of just pure chaos. And this one, you notice the red armband. He's right in front of Jeffrey Simmons, who is a beast, and he goes down, and you look and you're like, okay, what happened here? Watch Elgin Jenkins as well at left guard. There's just this. I picked this play just to show the chaos of what happens in line play. He gets banged by 53. 53 goes into 74. 73-4 goes into 98. Just a lot of stuff happening here, but it's like this would be like a very average game sort of play on TV. You really wouldn't see much. I actually think there's more yardage to the right. He cuts back and takes what he can get and goes north to south, but I think if he stretches this out, there's actually some more room. I would love to hear your opinion on what you see in this play.
The tough thing about it on a play like this is, first of all, I'm not necessarily a big fan of running outside zone or sweep concepts to the boundary. I think that you're just limiting yourself as far as space. The dimensions just aren't there. So I don't think this is necessarily a great play call. However, I think because of that takes into account the decision to cut this back here. Just because, you got to look at it from the perspective of, let's say if it was flipped, maybe he could stretch it out a little bit more because, he'd have some more real estate. But because it's a little short-sighted, he sees, okay, right, well, maybe I can just cut this back, cut up underneath, and, pick up what I can get. And he ends up making pretty good gain of it, picking up 5-6 yards just because the way the cutback is designed here, cuts off the tackles down block, But, yeah, I think, again, I'm not the biggest fan of this call. And that's no slight to Matt LaFleur again at his play calling. This particular is not my favorite, but again, it ended up being a positive play because Josh Jacobs was able to cut back and able to just pick up some yardage, following a lead blocker essentially.
Yeah, that's a great point about the boundary. As somebody who's not a coach, you don't often think about that. And also if you're Josh Jacobs, I believe that's number 8. Can you get to the boundary and outrun these guys? You probably can't. I mean, if you're Tyreek Hill or something, maybe you could, or somebody with blazing speed. But we're just going to keep going. I really enjoyed that film breakdown of Zach Tom. Unless you have anything else to add on him, I would like to move right into the opposite, what they would call the opposite number in rugby, the other team's right tackle for today's game, Brian O'Neill. Anything else to add on Zach?
No, I think I think what really again, as far as I mentioned the Green Bay Packers being underrated, Matt LaFleur being underrated. I think Zach Tom is one of the most underrated, not only tackles, but just offensive linemen in football. He's graded out extremely well over the last 2 seasons. And, I think as the Packers, now in this new era, past Aaron Rodgers and everything like that, I think, the success that they have under, Jordan Love will be interesting to see how, some of these guys get, really remembered and reflected on. I think you think of guys like Larry Allen, think of guys like Jonathan Ogden. Those guys were absolutely unbelievable Hall of Fame players, but they also played on some championship teams too, So we'll see where things go from here for Green Bay. But yeah, I think he is going to start getting more recognition, especially if Green Bay can keep stacking up wins.
Yeah, before we leave him, one of the rumors I heard about Zach Tom was that he has true 5-position versatility, and some scouts believe his truest position might be center, where he could be an all-pro in the Jason Kels kind of pulling mode, or Kevin Mawai sort of guy. But the way Myers is playing, why would you do that? And also, he's, you need a right tackle, you need a left tackle. These are all big time positions. I remember when I first started, there would be like a Joe Thomas or there would be a star here and there. All these guys are corporations on two legs. All these guys, they don't give these jobs away. I've said it before. And we're going to talk about Brian O'Neill, right tackle from the Minnesota Vikings, number 75. I put that RT there to illustrate where he started versus where he finished on this play. I look at where he starts there, and I put the RT down. I mean, that's people moving. He's all the way over in LT land. And this is another sort of unique athlete. Round 2 out of Pittsburgh in 2018, a 9.6 RAS score, a 4.8 40-yard dash at 6'6", 297. I mean, you don't really find guys like that. How a guy like this got to round 2 always baffles me, but I would love to hear what you're seeing in this particular play.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Brian O'Neill, and and I also, especially having played right tackle my entire college career, I was always a fan of these guys because this was the type of player I was, taller, leaner type of tackle, but athleticism. And the thing that to me that stands out about these types of tackles is I feel like this is really the prototype now. We mentioned Zach Tom earlier. He doesn't have the length as far as height wise as Brian O'Neill, but is a little more of a stouter athletic right tackle, whereas O'Neill is a little bit of a longer, I don't want to say lumbering, but I think he's got more of a lean on you type of factor, as you can see here on this play, just because of the height at 6'6". But Brian O'Neill, to me, like I always tell people, or I always tell my players, if you're gonna, have a guy cross your face, you got to do this. You got to just get him out of the club, really. Just move him right down that line at that point. Because it'd be one thing to say, okay, hey, you cross my face and you open up, and then you're looking back at Aaron Jones, and now, it's a TFL. He said, no, I'm just going to move this guy completely down the line of scrimmage so I know he's not a factor. And this, to me, is how you're supposed to really attack a down block. I wish he could get his head up a little bit higher, get his hands on his outside shoulder a little bit more rather than having the up and under, because let's say this DT rips through, he could get the holding call. But what I will say is Brian O'Neill's effort on this was really significant. And, you see Aaron Jones being able to really get to moving after this or on this play because of that block front side.
Yeah, I mean, I probably run a 7-second 40 at this point in my life, and I think I could even get through that hole. You know what I mean? I mean, you hear people say that, but that was a big one. And I think the foot speed is apparent on film. That's something you can't really teach. Here's another sort of a screen set where he flashes and then gets out in front. This wasn't a touchdown or anything, but I liked his initial set. It kind of sold it against Bosa, who's not a dummy. And again, I would love to hear Coach on this one. What do you see?
Yeah, for sure. I think the one thing I would critique is I wish he got a hand on Bosa there. But I think, just the way they ran this must have been a real short, quick screen that they wanted to get. So it was really almost, and I think it's hard to assess because it looks like Darnold wanted to grip and rip, but had to pump fake. So, but I think the only critique I'll have is about the not getting a hand, because Brian O'Neill's footwork, his first step, really apparent on this play. And this is, personnel matters, right? You don't really call a play like this if you have a super lumbering, tackle. This is, with a dancing bear. You got a really nimble guy playing RT. So you're able to call a play like this, and like you said, not able to record or get into the paint with a touchdown. They were able to gain positive yardage setting up a score in this game. But again, Brian O'Neill being able to get out, quickly evade Nick Bosa, work up to the linebacker, get a piece, and help Aaron Jones at least get closer to the end zone. Is again a testament to the type of athlete that he is.
Yeah, I liked how sticky he was when he got to the linebacker. A lot of times you'll see a guy get out in space, these NFL players, and they don't touch anybody. They just kind of occupy space, and that can work as well. The running back can use him for interference, but we've got one more Brian O'Neill click, then maybe a couple more picks, and then we'll all enjoy these morning games, these afternoon games, whatever, depending on where you are in the country. So this is the 97-yard pass play to Justin Jefferson, which is a very cool angle to watch it from back there. And seen it, I won't subject you to the last 30 yards but look how he isolates Bosa and pushes him by. I mean, I think it's pretty essential part of this play.
Oh, it is. And I think, this is the technique I always try to teach guys and have always tried to adhere to when I was a player, and it's really stabbing with that inside hand and just making sure that you guide those DNs right outside up the field. It's much easier for a quarterback to be able to step up in the pocket rather than, a DN is crashing inside and he's got to duck out that and then roll out of the pocket and reset himself and find the receiver. So that's a much more difficult process. So this is teach tape right here, especially against one of the top guys in the league. He's got some length on Nick Bosa, so he's able to just ride him by and really is able to set up Jettas to do what he does out wide. But I think just being able to give Darnold this type of protection, this backed up. Again, he's able to step up, let that thing fly. See you later, Justin Jefferson. So a beautiful play up front overall by the Vikings, but led by their really high level right tackle. Truly one of the best in the game, and it has been for a few years now.